New York. Sean Diddy Combs' defense team called the sex trafficking case against him badly exaggerated during its dramatic and at times erratic closing arguments Friday, pushing back on the prosecution's claims that the music mogul ran a criminal enterprise and portraying his sexual exploits as a lifestyle that involved personal use drugs. While addressing jurors in Manhattan federal court for roughly 4 hours, lead defense attorney Marc Agnifilo attempted to counter the government's charges against Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of sex trafficking, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted of the most serious charges, he could face life in prison. Agnifilo said his client is the only man in America being put on trial for making homemade pornography. "The crime scene is your private sex life," the lawyer told the jury, framing Combs' drug-fueled sex parties, known as freak-offs, as consensual encounters. He also suggested Combs' accusers were driven by regret and greed, seeking money from the wealthy businessman for sexual conduct they had agreed to take part in. Agnifilo's delivery stood in stark contrast to the prosecution's structured and neutral summation from Thursday. At times, he was animated and theatrical, pacing the floor of the courtroom in front of the jury box, his voice rising and almost cracking. Combs, who was dressed in a yellow sweater over a white collared shirt, appeared to watch his lead attorney attentively, a markedly different demeanor from the restless energy he displayed during the prosecution's closing remarks. Here are the major points Agnifilo made during closing arguments, ahead of jury deliberations next week. To prove the racketeering charge, prosecutors must show that members of an ongoing organization, with a common purpose and with Combs as its head, agreed to commit crimes on the defendant's behalf. They failed, Agnifilo argued Friday. "Nobody came into this courtroom and said, 'I was a member of an enterprise, and let me tell you how it worked,'" Agnifilo said. The sex and drugs that many witnesses spoke of, according to the defense, were part of Combs' personal life and completely divorced from his well-known music and apparel brands. The personal matters that the mogul's assistants dealt with, Agnifilo argued, were 1% of their jobs. He also highlighted Combs' success as a black businessman and champion of diversity and inclusion, pointing out all the former employees who testified that they admired the mogul.